Hello and welcome back everyone, we Weeb Online, and today I'm gonna continue the series What If Naruto Became the God of Sealing Part 3. If you enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and to watch more videos like this, subscribe to my channel and turn that bell notification on so you never miss an upload. Now wasting no more time, let's begin.
Neji told Naruto everything, from the cursed seal of the branch family to the day Naruto's father died. Neji put his headband back on and glared at Naruto, saying, "That's why I'll never forgive the main branch for what it did. Now give up," he told Naruto as he watched him smile. "What the hell is so funny? You think you beat me just because you blocked my chakra path," Naruto said as he pulled out some tags and looked at Neji. "You see, seals can work in different ways. Some need chakra to work, while others only need contact. After your fight with Hinata, I realized that the Hyuga clan fights by cutting off their opponent's chakra network, making it impossible for them to use chakra. So I made a few seals that work when they touch." Naruto threw a kunai with a tag on the end. Neji jumped to the side to avoid the kunai, but he was surprised when the kunai exploded when it hit the ground and sent more kunai flying everywhere. Neji started to cover himself with his spinning chakra dome, which stopped the kunai. "I can't use Kyuubi's chakra yet. I need to keep it hidden for as long as I can." Naruto took out another kunai and threw it just as Neji started to slow down. Neji thought, "I can't believe this," as he dodged the exploding kunai. Neji watched as Naruto pulled two kunai out of his shirt and threw them at him. "He is fighting with no chakra, but he is still keeping me on guard. All I have to do is wait for him to run out of kunai, and then I can go in for the finishing blow." Neji jumped to get away from the kunai, but when they blew up, they sent chains into the air. Neji looked and saw Naruto holding the end of those chains. Naruto pulled Neji down, and the chains wrapped around him and dropped him to the ground. When the smoke cleared, Neji had managed to get one arm out of the chains and was already putting chakra into it to try to cut through the chains. Naruto grabbed Neji and ran toward him. Neji looked and saw that Naruto was getting ready to punch him, but before he could reach him, Neji managed to cut the chains that were holding him down. Neji tried to hit Naruto in the face with a hand full of chakra, but Naruto dodged it. Naruto turned around so he could face Neji. Neji yelled, "Why do you always try to win?" This shocked Naruto. "You know you can't use any jutsu for a while, so why try to win?" This made Naruto smile, which made Neji confused and angry. "Because you and I, Neji, aren't that different." Naruto watched as some of Neji's anger turned into surprise. "We're both from clans in Konoha, and we're both carrying something we didn't ask for." Neji saw Naruto's smile drop a little as he asked, "What are you talking about? The only thing that seems wrong with your laugh is that people stare at you and insult you." Naruto looked at Neji and said, "Yes, but have you ever wondered why?" For a split second, Neji thought he saw an image of a small boy crying. "I don't need pity. That's another thing that binds us together. We don't need pity from others. I may get knocked down, but I'll keep getting back up until my body dies on me." Naruto charged at Neji, who put his hands up to defend himself, but as soon as his arms were level, he felt hands grab his waist. When he looked down, Kage Bunshin's head came out of a hole. Neji looked around and saw the other hole. He also saw that the last kunai was no longer there. Every single kunai was a Kage Bunshin, the man said. Neji was, to put it mildly, shocked. "He tricked me into thinking that only a few of the kunai were copies." Neji turned and saw Naruto with a kunai ready to activate the seal on it. But Neji closed his eyes and focused his chakra where the seal would hit. A chakra stopped Naruto's kunai about an inch from Neji. The chakra suddenly grew bigger and shot both the clone and the real Neji away from him. Neji was surprised when the kunai fell to the ground and an orange tendril wrapped around him and pulled him down until he was lying on his stomach. "Horan succeeds with Fuinjutsu," it said. Naruto looked tired and was breathing hard. "Without my chakra, this was hard to do, Neji." Naruto watched as Neji glared at him and then turned away. Neji stopped when Naruto punched him in the head and said, "It looks like fate chose you." "What did you say?" Naruto asked with a serious look in his eyes. "Did it wake you up?" Naruto stood up and pulled his kunai out of the ground. He said, "Fate had nothing to do with what happened here today." Neji was confused when the orange tendril that was holding him down went away. "I had you beat, but I chose to let you go. I failed the graduation exams 3 times, but I never gave up. The reason I failed was because I couldn't do a single bunshin. My clones were terrible, so don't talk to me about destiny and fate. If you have the guts, stand up and fight." Naruto watched as Neji stood up and looked at Naruto, not sure how to take this. "Fate has nothing to do with this, Neji. You chose to stand up and fight. You choose whether you win or lose when the fight is over." Naruto looked at his kunai and then threw it down. "I can feel my chakra starting to move again. But what are you going to do about it?" Neji looked at the kunai that Naruto had thrown down and saw that he could reach it. He got down on his knees and picked up the kunai. He spun it around until it caught on the handle. "I'll have to beat it out of you," he said with a smile. Naruto took out his own kunai and tag. When Naruto saw the tag, he thought back to when Jiraiya gave it to him. Flashback. "Naruto, I have something for you," Jiraiya said. When Naruto turned around, Jiraiya put a tag in his hand. "I made this tag for you, but you should only use it when you have no other choice. I still don't understand why you don't want to use the Kyuubi's chakra." He sighed and put the tag in his pocket. "Because if I use it, people will start asking questions, and I don't want to answer them," Naruto said, and he started to walk away. Jiraiya smiled as he watched his student walk away and say, "Besides, it will be my ace in the hole." When Naruto put the tag on the kunai, it almost worked right away. The tag started to light up, and all of a sudden, wind started to circle the blade of the kunai. Neji nodded and began to put chakra into his kunai as well. "Okay, don't hold back," he said. Before they got close, Neji turned around and surrounded himself with a small dome of chakra. Neji swung his kunai sideways at Naruto as he swung his now wind sword down. When the two blades met, there was a huge explosion of rock and smoke. People watched as the smoke started to clear, revealing two figures. Neji cut Naruto in the stomach, which made him stumble. But when Neji stood up, everyone could see his torso. It looked like someone had taken a sword and used Neji as a target to practice on. Neji tripped and fell forward, but Naruto was there to catch him. "Remember that it's up to you." Neji tried to get up, but almost fell again when he did. Neji laughed as he looked up and saw a bird resting on a branch of a tree. "I'm still a bird in a cage," Naruto said as he put Neji down. Neji looked at Naruto and said, "That might be true, but even a caged bird knows how to fly. All someone has to do is open the cage, and the bird will fly. You need to ask yourself, Neji, if you're ready for the cage to be opened." Neji looked back at the bird and saw it fly away. "The winner is Naruto Uzumaki," they said. When Naruto stood up, he heard some cheers and some boos. As Naruto walked up the ramp, he just smiled and waved. Naruto walked over to the other people with a smile on his face. Naruto asked with his arms open, "So, how did I do?" Shikamaru mumbled, "Troublesome. But you did well." Naruto smiled, but he stopped smiling when he saw Gaara's eyes on him. "The next match will be between Shikamaru, Nara, and Temari," said the announcer. Shikamaru didn't want to go down to the arena, but Naruto gave him a push, and he went. Shikamaru wanted the fight to go on for a long time so that his shadow could reach further and catch Temari. After getting her to back up next to one of Naruto's holes, he used the other hole to sneak up behind her and grab her. Then Shikamaru did the weirdest thing of all. He gave up. Shikamaru just yawned as people started throwing things at him. Gaara looked at his sister, and that's when she realized she would have to fight him next, but she knew she had time on her side. "Okay, the next match will be Shino versus Sasuke," Sasuke said. As soon as his words left his mouth, a gust of wind and a swirling of leaves happened. When everyone turned around, they saw Sasuke standing next to Kakashi and grinning. "So you decided to show up after all. Sorry, we would have been here sooner, but Sasuke got lost." Sasuke glared at his teacher and then at his opponent, which confused Kakashi. "I thought Gaara and Sasuke were fighting." "Well, Kankuro and Dasu didn't show up, so we had to make the people who didn't have matches draw again," Kakashi said. Genma raised an eyebrow and looked at Kakashi. "In order to fight Temari, Sasuke ended up fighting Shino and Gaara," Kakashi said. He nodded and disappeared in a swirl of leaves. Genma said, "Start," and then he watched as Shino's bug started to come out of his sleeves. Sasuke smiled and ran towards Shino. In a burst of speed, he was gone. Shino's eyes got big as he looked around, but when he turned to his left, he got punched and fell down. He looked up and saw that Sasuke was making hand signs that ended with a tiger seal. Shino rolled out of the way of the fire that Sasuke spewed out. In order to get away from the fire, the bug started to crawl back into Shino. Shino thought, "This is the worst thing that could happen to me." Shino kept thinking, "My hive can't get close or they'll get burned, and I can't catch him either." He tried to come up with a plan that wouldn't hurt his hive in some way, but he couldn't. Shino said, "I give," as he calmed down. Shino turned around and started walking up the steps as the judge called Sasuke the winner. "I can't catch you, and even if I could, it would hurt my hive," she said. Genma said, "We'll take a short break so the contestants can rest and relax. The next match will be between Sasuke and Naruto," the announcer said. The crowd screamed loudly. Naruto smiled as he looked at Sasuke. Naruto smiled and held out his hand. "It looks like we can finally find out who is the strongest." Sasuke smirked. "Just use every trick you know and fight as hard as you can," Sasuke said. Then he turned and walked away, leaving Naruto both happy and confused. "Raikage-sama, someone wants to talk to you," the man said. He turned around, looking confused. "Who is it then?" He didn't say his name, but he said this was enough. He watched as the man spoke and got a little more angry. "We are just pawns in the game of time." E's eyes widened when he remembered hearing that from someone he used to work with a long time ago. "Let him in," the person said. The messenger nodded and turned to go to the door. He came back later with a huge man. He was a tall, broad-shouldered man with a huge white beard. His black eyes seemed to glow with power and showed both arrogance and experience. "Hello, E," the man said, and his laugh seemed to freeze the air around them. He was mad at the man in front of him and asked, "What do you want? I told you that you should never show your face to me again." "Yes, you did. But if that's the case, why did you let me see you?" The man laughed when the lightning hit E. "Just answer the question," he said in a very threatening way. The man's sense of humor vanished all of a sudden, and he became more dangerous. He said, "Fine," but his voice had a low growl to it. "My spy found a new Uzumaki, and he seems to have gotten into the manor of the Uzumaki clan." He cringed when she heard the name Uzumaki. She remembered what the Uzumaki could do like it was yesterday. "So what? You're the one with a grudge against them." He motioned for his guards to take the man in front of him away until he started to laugh. "You seem to have forgotten that you had something to do with the destruction of Uzashigakure." The guards stopped when they saw their leader start to sweat. "Are you trying to hurt me?" he asked. As he stood up, the ground around him started to crack and break. The man just walked into the room and sat down on one of the chairs. He said, "Oh no, I would never do that." But Yuzashio did live long enough to do something to that one building. He could have put an imprint of himself inside a seal with his chakra that would trigger and let him come back long enough to tell the Uzumaki what happened. The man watched as E's mind started to work. "And that Uzumaki might come after you if, I don't know, someone helped him with his Fuinjutsu." "I'm not afraid of one man," E said. He sat down, but when he heard the man laugh, the hair on the back of his neck stood up. "That's what you said about Yuzashio," the man said. When he turned around, he saw anger in the eyes of the cage. "Look at what happened to all the men you sent to fight down there. I forgot how many of them came back." He didn't say anything for a minute before he did. "Let me meet with the council," he said. The other man nodded and got up. "But let me warn you, Senji, if this is a trick, I will kill you. I helped wipe out the Uzumaki clan because they were a strong ally of Konoha and nothing else." Senji just smiled and turned around. Genma yelled, "All right, we can start the next match now. Naruto, Uzumaki, and Sasuke Uchiha, please come down to the arena." Naruto and Sasuke walked down to the arena together and looked at each other. "Are the competitors ready now?" "Yes," they said, but they never took their eyes off each other. Genma jumped back as Sasuke and Naruto both threw their kunai at the same time. Sasuke disappeared in a flash of speed, which made Naruto raise his arms just in time to block a kick that was going for his face. Sasuke used his momentum to spin over Naruto and kick him in the back, sending him in the opposite direction. When Naruto turned around, Sasuke was already coming at him. Naruto turned around to avoid a punch to the stomach and hit Sasuke in the back of the head with his own fist. Sasuke just turned around in time to get hit in the face with a fist. Sasuke was thrown to the ground and watched as Naruto jumped and rolled into a ball. When Naruto got lower, he raised one leg in an axe kick, but Sasuke was able to avoid the attack thanks to his Sharingan. When Naruto hit the ground, he made a hole about the size of a foot. Sasuke turned around and was already making signs with his hands. Katen, Jikeki no Jutsu. Sasuke threw a huge fireball at Naruto that he called Jikeki no Jutsu. Naruto gritted his teeth and took one of his red tags out of his pocket. Fuinjutsu, Shaokyaku. When the fire stream and the fireball hit each other, they blew up and sent flames all over the area. As his friend ran toward him, Naruto smiled. Sasuke, on the other hand, frowned. Naruto threw a right fist at Sasuke, but Sasuke caught it and threw Naruto up into the air. Naruto used this momentum to spin him around and throw 4 more kunai at Sasuke, who dodged them all. As Naruto used the cage bunshin, Sasuke kept his eyes on him. 3 clones appeared out of nowhere, grabbed Naruto, and then threw him at Sasuke. As he dodged, Sasuke's eyes got narrower, and he landed a punch on Naruto's head, making him vanish in a puff of smoke. When Sasuke looked around, he saw that the rest of the clones were falling towards him. Sasuke avoided the clones' attacks and threw another fireball at them. But when the flames died down, Sasuke got nothing in return. As Sasuke looked around, he thought, so he's hiding somewhere. But a sound from under him caught his attention. Sasuke looked down just as the ground erupted and Naruto jumped out with his fist stretched out. Sasuke jumped back to avoid the punch, but Naruto turned around and kicked Sasuke in the stomach, sending him even farther back. Naruto got back on his feet and smiled at Sasuke, who gave him a small glare. "Even though my Sharingan was on, He still hit me, Sasuke said as he pulled out his kunai and got ready to charge. Naruto, on the other hand, let his guard down a little when he saw that Sasuke was more serious and angry around him. Naruto wondered what's wrong with him, but brushed it off just as Sasuke charged at him. Naruto jumped to the side, took out his own kunai, and threw it at Sasuke, who caught it. Sasuke was about to say something when he heard something hiss. Sasuke looked at the kunai right before it blew up, and everyone watched as the Uchiha disappeared in a huge cloud of smoke. When it started to go away, Sasuke stabbed the cage bunshin that Naruto had put into the seal in the chest. Just as Sasuke turned around, Naruto did his cage bunshin jutsu, and made 2 copies of himself to go after Sasuke. Sasuke watched as Naruto got a scroll and some ink and started writing in it. I can't let him finish whatever he's doing, Sasuke said, and he started flying through hand signs until he landed on the tiger. Sasuke then spun around and spit out a number of small fireballs. The clones tried to avoid them, but the fireballs suddenly changed direction and hit them, killing them all at once. When Naruto saw this, he jumped back just as Sasuke shot a huge fireball that blew up Naruto's scroll and ink. Really, did you think I'd let you finish your little trick? Naruto bit his lip as he pulled out his kunai and said, damn, I was halfway done with it. Sasuke looked at the kunai and smiled. No tag on it. Sasuke smirked. So I'm guessing you're almost out of tags, right? Naruto glared at Sasuke and threw the kunai at him. Sasuke dodged, but then wished he hadn't. Naruto stuck out his right arm and pointed his finger right at him. Fuinjutsu, Byakurai. The static bolt shot straight at Sasuke's chest. But Sasuke turned on his heel, and the bolt hit him in the right arm instead. Sasuke fell back and tried to get his right arm to work by making a fist with it. When Sasuke looked up, he saw something that made him both happy and confused. Naruto was breathing hard, but what surprised Sasuke was that seals covered his face and arms. Damn, I'm using too much chakra. If I keep doing this, I'll break the seal and be right back where I started. When his arms started to move again, Sasuke smiled a little more. Sasuke said, I'm going to end this, Naruto, with a dark tone just below his tone. When Naruto looked up, metal wire was wrapping around him and kunai were nailing him to the ground. Naruto could only move his left arm, which was not attached to Sasuke's wire. When Naruto looked up, he saw Sasuke with his arm down on the ground. Sasuke looked up just as a ball of electricity started to form in his arm. Chidori. As soon as Sasuke said this, he ran at Naruto with his arm on the ground, making a straight line. Kakashi was shocked by what his student was about to do and thought, what is he doing? Genma thought, I have to stop this right now, as he was about to run and grab Sasuke. Orochimaru, who was pretending to be the 4th Kazekage, hissed, that's right, Sasuke, give in to the darkness. Hinata yelled, Naruto, just as Sasuke put his arm out in front of him. Genma gritted his teeth and walked a little faster, saying, I'm not going to make it. Damn, this is going to be painful. I guess it's time to see what this thing can do. Naruto shouted in his mind. That's when he remembered the arm guards and what Sarutobi had said about them. Naruto started to pour chakra into his arm guard, making it glow blue. The other arm guard also started to glow. Then, everyone was surprised when a thin line of chakra stretched out from both guards and made a barrier between Naruto and Sasuke. What the hell are you doing? Sasuke yelled in anger. Genma stopped dead in his tracks and jumped away with a sigh of relief. Thank goodness that kid had that shield, or we would be cleaning up a body. Naruto looked at the barrier just as it started to go back into his left arm guard. That's when he remembered what Sarutobi had said about Uzushio putting seals on armor and weapons. So the gauntlets make barriers. Sweet. Tell me what you did, Naruto. Sasuke growled as he jumped away. Naruto looked up and smiled. It's not what I did, it's what one of my family members did. Naruto closed his eyes and took a deep breath. I know I told myself I wouldn't use it, but I have no choice. Naruto's eyes shot open and a surge of red chakra poured out of him. The wire that was around him was blasted off and Naruto was free to move again. What is he? Sasuke asked Naruto with fear in his eyes as a huge 9-tailed fox appeared behind him. Sasuke was starting to shake because he was afraid of Naruto's power. What are you? Normal people, especially you, have no right to have this kind of power. Naruto laughed and looked at Sasuke with sad eyes. Who said I was normal? Naruto asked. Naruto disappeared and reappeared next to Sasuke. Sasuke turned, but before he could react, he was kicked into the trees. The trees fell on top of where Sasuke was kicked, but before they could fall all the way, Sasuke managed to jump out of the tree's path. Sasuke looked up just in time to dodge a punch from Naruto. He then threw a kunai with an explosive tag. Since we came back from Wave, you've been getting more and more angry with me. You want to know why? Sasuke said again with that dark tone in his voice. Because you did nothing. Naruto was confused as he looked at Sasuke. You came from a clan that no one had ever heard of, and as soon as you set foot in that place, you're the talk of the town. You didn't do anything before what happened on the bridge, but even then, if I hadn't been there, you would have died. Naruto looked and saw that Sasuke's Sharingan began to grow, and a third Tomo appeared. But do you know what those stupid villagers did? They gave you all the credit. Naruto said to his friend, Sasuke, you know that's not true. The people of Wave gave us all equal credit. Wow, Naruto. Sasuke yelled this, which made Naruto flinch a little. Did they make us any cool little cloaks or gifts? I guess it fits you to have such old and stupid relics from some forgotten clan. Naruto's eyes hardened at this. Naruto looked at Sasuke as he popped his neck and said, this guard used to belong to an old family member. Please don't insult my family again, Sasuke. Sasuke laughed a little. Otherwise, what are you going to do? Sasuke asked sarcastically. Naruto, you might be strong, but you still come from a nobody clan. Everyone knows about the Uchiha clan, and they both respect and fear us. Or what's left of you, Naruto said without thinking, and Sasuke's whole attitude changed. He got a cold air around him, as if he were trying to freeze the air with his anger. Sasuke said, I am a Uchiha. I am the best in Konoha, and a nobody like you has no chance of beating me. He then dropped into a fighting stance. That's where you're wrong, Sasuke. I'm not a nobody, Naruto said, standing his ground and giving Sasuke a frown. I am Naruto Uzumaki, the last member of a great clan who is still alive. Sasuke just charged at Naruto with anger in his eyes. Naruto left the ground in a cloud of dust and rock as he ran at Sasuke. But just as he threw a punch, Sasuke dodged it and hit him in the stomach. He was then kicked in the head, making him jump backwards to avoid Sasuke. Rat, would you like more power? Kyuubi said this in a sarcastic tone of voice. No, I don't trust you, and I can handle the situation. Naruto heard Kyuubi laugh before he ran at Sasuke. Naruto threw a shuriken at Sasuke, who easily dodged the spinning blade. But he was forced to duck under a kick from Naruto. Naruto cursed and bit both of his thumbs while using Kyuubi's remaining chakra. He slid across the ground and slammed both of his palms against the ground. When the Kyuubi's container said those words, everyone in the stadium stood up. Naruto was covered in smoke and Sasuke put his hands up to defend himself. But when the smoke cleared, Sasuke almost laughed. On both of Naruto's shoulders were two toads. One was yellow and the other was a reddish-orange. So this is your big comeback, Sasuke said with a laugh to Naruto. A couple of stupid toads, please don't insult the power of Uchiha. Gamatotsu looked hurt, and Gamakichi gave Sasuke a hard look. Let me at him. Gamachi jumped towards Sasuke, but Naruto stopped him. Gamatotsu then said, I'll do it, but we need to work together. What does it matter? He was right, Naruto said, looking at Gamatotsu, who was sad. Gamakichi and I can't help you. Why did you call us when you could have called our father instead? Because I think we can beat him together, Naruto said with a smile to Gamatotsu. Besides, I don't think your father would be too happy being called in such a small space. Gamatotsu laughed at that. I'll take you both out for snacks after this is over. Deal. The brothers nodded and looked at Sasuke, who was grinning at the three of them. I hope you're ready to lose, Naruto, Sasuke said as he charged at Naruto, who held out his hands for the toads. No, we are all set to win. Naruto threw Gamatotsu and Gamakichi into the air as he charged at Sasuke. Sasuke blocked Naruto's punch just as he blocked Naruto's punch. Naruto ducked under and tried to kick Sasuke in the stomach. But Sasuke caught it and threw Naruto. Naruto used his momentum to turn in the air and land on his feet, but when he did, he saw You lose. Sasuke made to kill Naruto, but Naruto smiled. Now Gamatotsu. Sasuke's eyes widened when he turned around and saw the yellow toad spit out a big glob of oil. The oil hit the ground between Naruto and Sasuke, but Sasuke was already putting his foot down. Sasuke slipped and was about to fall when Naruto punched him in the stomach, sending him backwards. Gamakichi appeared again in front of Sasuke and spit some oil on him. What the hell do you think you're doing? Sasuke got up, furious as ever. When the two toads put their hands together, Sasuke's eyes got bigger. Katen, Sokusha, the two toads each spat out a fireball, but they didn't go straight. Instead, the fireballs curved and went to the left and right sides of Sasuke, where Naruto was waiting with a kunai. Fuck, Sasuke said in his mind as he put his hands together. When the fire hit Sasuke's oiled body, it made a pillar of flame that scared everyone away. Naruto, we're not like our dad. We don't have a lot of chakra, Gamakichi said, making Naruto look at the two toads and see that they were tired. We need to go, but don't forget that you owe us a snack. Naruto nodded his head and looked at Sasuke laying on the ground with burns all over his body. How? Sasuke just smirked even bigger. You've been using the cage bunshin around me long enough for my Sharingan to pick it up. Naruto's eyes grew wide when he understood what Sasuke meant. You copied my cage bunshin, Naruto said as the last sleeve fell off and showed that his whole torso was wrapped in bandages. Do you know how dangerous that is? Sasuke shrugged like he didn't care and kept grinning. I see you still have a trick up your sleeve. Sasuke just watched as Naruto gritted his teeth from the slight pain of standing up. But it won't be enough to stop me. Naruto just glared at Sasuke. I didn't make this seal for you. Naruto stood up and looked at his right hand. I can only do this once. Naruto looked at Sasuke while holding his right hand up, palm out. Sasuke just smiled as he started to charge up his second Chidori. With such a weak jutsu, you can't beat me. Sasuke had a very evil look in his eye, which made Naruto worry about his friend, but he knew he couldn't do anything else. I didn't plan on it. Naruto threw a red tag in front of him that made Sasuke's eyes widen. Fuinjutsu, Shaokyaku. Instead of sending a jet of flame forward, the seal exploded, but thanks to Tenrin, the fireball quickly turned into an inferno that was headed straight for Sasuke. Die. Sasuke threw his Chidori and hit Naruto in the chest. Blood started coming out of the blonde's mouth, but what scared everyone was that Naruto was smiling. I told you that you couldn't beat me like that. Suddenly, Naruto started to laugh. And I told you I didn't plan on it, Naruto said as he exploded into a huge cloud of smoke. Sasuke turned around just in time to see Naruto deliver a brutal chakra-lace punch to his face that sent the Uchiha flying backwards. Naruto was breathing hard, but was still able to stay on his feet. Sasuke, on the other hand, was in a bad way. He was disoriented and had the worst headache ever. When did you switch? Sasuke said through pain in his face. Naruto sat down gently and looked at Sasuke. While you were busy dealing with my little wall of fire, he said. You know you can't keep going. Shut up. I tried to move, but all I could do was sit up. I'm a Uchiha, which means I'm the best person in this village. Naruto just shook his head and stood up on wobbly legs. Just because you have a special last name doesn't make you the best, Sasuke glared at him. You have to keep training to get better. It doesn't matter if you have a special skill. What matters is what you do with it. Remember, Sasuke, a master with a pebble can beat a beginner with a shuriken. Sasuke still wasn't ready to give up. I don't care that you're a nobody who doesn't even deserve to be called Chunin, he said. Naruto looked at Sasuke in surprise as he went on. Do you really think that if you become Chunin, they'll like you? You're a fool. I can tell because they only look at you with hatred in their eyes. Do you think this village will ever care about you? Naruto asked with a distant look in his eyes as he looked at the ground. Naruto surprised Sasuke and the other people in the arena by saying, it doesn't matter anymore. I have people who care about me. Naruto turned around just as Sasuke fell down with a grunt. Even if the village doesn't love me, I have people who do. Winner Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto looked around and saw nothing but shocked faces and a few smiles. No one cheered, but Naruto saw someone standing up and clapping. She wore a black hood with a crescent moon with a sword going through it and a chain wrapped around it. Very good, Uzumaki, she said as she gracefully jumped from the stands to the ground. You have a lot of power behind you. What are you? Naruto demanded as he got ready to fight. The woman looked confused, but Naruto could see that she was smiling. Well, people call me Enmitsuki. Even though Naruto was staring at her, Enmitsuki kept her smile. Now, I'm not here to hurt you, I'm here to warn you. This caused Naruto to relax for a moment. Warn me? I'm not sure what you mean, Naruto asked. Enmitsuki just watched as Naruto seemed to understand what he was saying. Did you really think no one would notice a boy named Uzumaki who is good at Fuinjutsu? He asked. A certain man is trying to gather his forces to kill you and anyone who is connected to you. Then why? Naruto let down his guard because he was so interested in what this woman was saying. Enmitsuki smiled and looked up at the sky. Because of who you are. But it wasn't her place to tell her that. War is coming with all of its greatness and all of its terribleness. So I think you should be ready for it. Naruto suddenly opened his eyes and looked around. He didn't see anyone in front of him, but Genma was shaking him. Genma saw Naruto nod his head and look up to see a black cloaked figure leaving the stadium. But before Naruto could go after him, white feathers started to fall on the stands, followed by a huge explosion. We're under attack. Enmitsuki's words rang in Naruto's head as a shinobi yelled this while all the other ninja pulled out their weapons. Make no mistake. Naruto looked around as the area quickly turned into a battlefield and asked, is this what he meant? Fumagakior, we don't have a choice, we have to act right now. If what Senji said is true, and this Uzumaki tells Konoha that we killed the Uzumaki clan, They might want to attack us, but even if they don't, this Uzumaki might take matters into his own hands. The council members nodded, but when they looked at the wreckage, they could see that he was worried. One council member said as he saw E lift his head and look worried, "But what if Senji is lying?" When he said that, everyone looked at him like he was crazy. I mean, he may have helped us in the past, but we have to remember what his subordinate tried to do. Yes, we all remember that brute who tried to take over Kumo, said the leader of the council. But that doesn't mean that the same thing will happen again. And what if the Uzumaki doesn't know we were involved? He asked the council as he looked around. We didn't leave any clues for Konoha or a surviving Uzumaki to find us. But what if we missed something? Asked a white-haired council member as he leaned forward. If we missed even one piece back there, it could be terrible for us. He sighed and leaned back in his chair. He asked the council, "Are we ready to vote?" They all nodded, so he said, "Okay, then let the voting begin." Naruto, Shikamaru, Shino, and Sekiro were running through the forest after the Sand siblings. What could they be up to out here? Naruto asked. Shikamaru started to think of different options when he heard a noise behind him. "Great," he said, "we're being followed." He then stopped on a branch, which made everyone stop. "What's wrong, Shikamaru?" Shikamaru sighed when Sekiro called out. Shikamaru said it straight out, "Someone is following us. Someone needs to stay behind and take care of things here." Everyone looked at each other and said, "I'll." Everyone looked at Sekiro, who was looking down at the ground with a sad face and saying, "I'll do it. Out of everyone here, I can benefit more from being down here than up there. I'll hold them off while you guys go ahead." Naruto opened his mouth to object, but Sekiro cut him off. "I don't care what you say, Naruto. I'm staying." Naruto closed his mouth and smiled as he pulled out 3 kunai with seals on them. He handed them to Sekiro, who watched as he created 3 cage bunchins. "You guys stay here and help Sekiro out." The bunchins nodded and walked over to Sekiro. "The kunais are made to shoot my horn seal to ensnare and trap the opponent, but use it wisely, it will only last for 4 seconds. Naruto turned to leave, but looked back with a worried look. "Be careful." Sekiro nodded and watched as the group jumped in the direction the Sand siblings went. The clones looked at her and shook their heads. That's when Sekira's worry showed on her face. One of them patted Sekira's back and said, "Don't worry, you'll be fine. We just need to set up a trap." The other clones nodded, jumped to other trees, and started putting explosive tags on the trunks. "Remember to use those to hold them down so the trees can take them out," he said. After a few minutes of thinking, Sekiro snapped her fingers and said, "I have a better idea." The clone leaned forward and listened to what Sekiro had in mind. The sound group ran through the woods until they saw a blonde kid with his arms crossed standing in front of them. "Hello," Naruto's clone said in a polite voice. As his group stopped, the leader thought, "That's the kid from the Chunin exams." Naruto said with a smile, "What are people like you doing in a place like this?" The sound nin smiled back, but kept their guard up. The leader said, "Look, kid, we're in a hurry, so if you step aside they won't mind." "Well, I'm sorry, but you'll have to deal with me first." The clone lowered his arms and got into a fighting stance. "Alright, fine kid, you asked for." The leader stopped when he saw movement. He turned to his left and saw another Naruto, but when he turned the other way he saw another one. Shit, a trap. The clones were holding a kunai each, but before they could stab the leader they were stabbed in the head by 2 thrown kunais, killing them. "Because I wasn't aiming for you." The clone raised his hand in a tiger seal. The sound nins looked and saw the kunai start to glow. Before they could do anything, orange tendrils shot out and wrapped around the group. "Now Sekiro." The clone screamed and disappeared in a puff of smoke. The group heard a crack and turned to see tiny explosive seals floating down towards them. "Alright, let's go." Sekiro threw a kunai with an explosive tag at them. The kunai exploded, which caused the tiny explosive tags to explode. Sekiro watched as the area turned into a dome of fire. "I did it." Sekiro was happy until she heard a noise from inside the fire. She turned and saw that she only hurt the nins badly. Some of them had burns all over their bodies and were bleeding. As the horn wore off, the leader growled, "You're going to pay for that, BTCH." The group tried to move over, but a swirl of leaves stopped them. Sekiro turned around and saw Asuma standing behind her with a sound nin on his shoulder. Asuma put the man on his side and took out his trench knives, saying, "I don't think you can do anything." Naruto's eyes narrowed as the memories of the clones flooded into his. He looked back at Sekiro and said, "Please be okay, Sekiro." He turned around just in time to see a puppet charging at him. He ducked at the last second and landed on a tree, looking up to see the puppet go back to its user. Kankuro was looking at the group with a vague smirk on his face. Kankuro said, "This is as far as you 3 can go," as he pulled his puppet closer to him. Naruto said, then I guess we'll just have to go through you. He grabbed his left arm and brought his shuriken, but Shikamaru stepped in front of him and stopped him. Shikamaru yawned and looked at Naruto with bored eyes. This is so hard, but we have no other choice. If we stay together, what are we going to talk about? Then the enemy in front of us will have time to finish whatever they have planned, Shikamaru said as he stretched his muscles and felt his bones pop. Plus, that Temari girl already knows what I'll do if we fight again. This is the best plan I can think of that doesn't involve us all staying behind. Shikamaru was right, and Naruto shut his mouth when he realized it. Naruto reached behind him to get something for Shikamaru, but he stopped him. Shikamaru just watched as Naruto nodded his head but didn't look too happy about the situation. Just as Shikamaru turned around, Naruto slipped a seal into his pocket. Just don't die on us, Shikamaru. Shikamaru nodded and turned to face Kankuro. Naruto and Shino both jumped in the direction of the other Sand siblings. All we can do is hope they win their fights, Naruto said with his eyebrows slightly lowered and a frown. Shino looked at Naruto and said, that doesn't really answer my question. Naruto quickly shut his mouth and thought, I wonder if I went down the wrong path, would I end up like you, Gaara? At the time, Naruto was not happy. The 3 people he was with when he went into the forest were no longer there. Sekura stayed behind with some of his clones to fight off some sound ninjas. Right now, Shikamaru is fighting Kankuro, and Shino just said he would fight Temari. Naruto thought, I'll have to beat Gaara quickly and get back to the others. He hit the next branch, and when he jumped, he broke it in half and started to speed up. When Naruto started to see sand, he knew he was getting close to Gaara. Then, a wave of sand tried to catch Naruto, but he made Kage Bunshin, who grabbed his arm and swung him to a nearby tree. Naruto turned around and watched as the clone was eaten and crushed by the sand. Naruto jerked when he almost felt the same thing as the clone. He looked in the direction of where the attack was coming from and saw something that would haunt him for days. Gaara looked like something from your worst nightmare. Half of his body was covered in sand, which made him look twisted. Gaara knelt down as his single tail swung behind him and said, Uzumaki, I've been waiting for this moment. Gaara jumped from a tree branch and ran after Naruto just as he was getting ready. Shikamaru was hiding behind a tree, and Kankuro's puppet was hovering in the middle, looking for him like a ghost. Shikamaru was bored as he looked up at the sky and thought, this is so hard. I just wanted to marry a girl who wasn't too pretty or too ugly, have 2 kids, a boy and a girl, and retire when my son becomes a ninja and my daughter gets married, but I guess life is too hard for that. Shikamaru stood up, but stopped when he heard the puppet clank next to him. Shikamaru dodged just in time to avoid getting a close shave from a blade. Kankuro said as he pulled his fingers apart and sent Shikamaru's puppet after him. You think you can run away from me? Shikamaru looked back and saw the puppet aim one of his arms at him. The arm then moved back on a hinge to show a hole in the puppet's arm. When the puppet shot a black sphere at Shikamaru, his eyes got bigger. Shikamaru thought, poison, as the sphere exploded and a black cloud of poison surrounded him. Kankuro laughed and said, there's no way he can survive that poison cloud. But he had to duck when 3 kunai came flying at him. Kankuro jumped and landed on another tree. He looked up and saw Shikamaru tied to a tree above the poison with ninja wire wrapped around his left hand. You're right, I wouldn't have been able to live through that poison, but there was no reason I couldn't have avoided it. Kankuro gritted his teeth and moved 2 of his fingers, and his puppet started firing senbon at him. Shikamaru dropped his ninja wire and jumped out of the way of the attack, but he kept a close eye on both the puppet and the puppet master the whole time. Shikamaru thought to himself as he dodged the puppet again, barely avoiding a poison kunai. If I can figure out how the fingers move, I'll know when I need to dodge. Shikamaru said, I can't let Kankuro get away from me. At that moment, he saw that Kankuro had left, making the Nara curse. Kankuro, who was hiding under a bush, thought, stupid fool. He thought I didn't know he was trying to figure out how my puppet moves. He's a fool if he thinks he can do that by watching me. Shikamaru started to think about his different ideas as he tried to stop the puppet from stabbing him. Shikamaru kept dodging until he was able to jump behind a tree and throw a smoke bomb to hide. Shikamaru took out what little ninja gear he had left and glared at it. He has to have a good enough view to see me, but it has to be well hidden so I don't see him. Damn, I told him he'd need all the help he could get when he got to Gaara. Well, it's too much trouble to stay mad at him, so I might as well get this over with. Shikamaru stood up and got ready to put his plan into action. He stepped out from behind a tree and threw a flash bomb into the air, which blinded everyone in the area with a bright flash. Kankuro got scared when he saw the bright light and almost fell out of the tree, which told Shikamaru where he was. Found him, Shikamaru said. Just as he turned around and ran toward him, a puppet appeared in front of him and stabbed him in the stomach with a poisoned blade. Shikamaru's lips started to bleed as Kankuro slowly came out of hiding while smiling. And that's why you shouldn't have messed with me in the first place. Kankuro stopped talking as his body stiffened. What the hell? Kankuro looked up and saw Shikamaru smiling and making a rat seal with his fingers. When Kankuro looked at the ground, he saw a line of shadow that led to him. I knew that if your puppet got me, you'd come out, Shikamaru said as he let out a breath, twitched his fingers, and slowly moved the puppet away, which surprised Kankuro. The puppet fell from the trees and landed hard on the ground. Shikamaru began to walk over to Kankuro and Kankuro did the same. When Shikamaru got close enough to Kankuro to touch him, he took out the seal that Naruto had given him. Whatever this is, I won't make it through today. The poison is spreading faster than I thought it would. Shikamaru brought up the tag and put it on Kankuro's chest. Suddenly, the seal started to glow bright blue. Shikamaru's shadow broke away from Kankuro's as he and Kankuro fell down. Kankuro said, "Damn, this is a chakra seal," as he tried to grab the seal but couldn't move his arm much. "At least you're still going to die here, Nara," he said. He looked over and saw Shikamaru looking boredly up at the clouds. Just as Shikamaru was about to answer, they heard a footstep on the branch. When they looked, they saw a woman in a black cloak with a moon on it that had a chain wrapped around it and a sword going through it. Enmatsuki said, "I don't think he's going to die yet," as she carefully picked up the Nara and looked at Kankuro. "I think you should leave before someone runs into you," the stranger said. Then he jumped off the branch and left Kankuro behind. Shikamaru was a little wary of the woman who was carrying him. Shikamaru asked, "Where are you taking me?" as he tried to move. Enmatsuki kept jumping from branch to branch until she reached a place where a Konoha ninja could find her. As she laid Shikamaru down, she said, "It looks like I won't have to go far." Shikamaru was confused. "Someone is coming, and the way they're moving makes me think they're friendly," Shikamaru said as he turned and saw two ninja with Konoha headbands coming toward them. Shikamaru turned around to talk to her, but when he looked back, she wasn't there. As he and his teammate landed on the branch, one of the Konoha ninja said, "Hey, isn't that the Nara heir?" The girl put her hands on his chest and said, "Yeah, it is." From her hands, a green light began to shine out. "He's been poisoned, and we need to get him to Shibai or his father right away." The man nodded, and the two ninjas left the order to look for enemy ninja in the forest and went back to the village. Shikamaru had one last thought before he gave into the darkness. What a bother. Shino wasn't sure how to use Temari to deal with the wind. Every time one of his bugs tried to get close, she used a gust of wind to push it away. "You and your bugs won't get anywhere near me." Temari swung her fan again and blew Shino forward by destroying the tree he was hiding behind. Shino turned around and saw Temari swing her fan, sending a wave of sharpened wind blades at Shino. Shino jumped to the nearest tree to avoid being hit. Shino started to jump from tree to tree and watched as Temari kept swinging her fan to cut down the trees. "I need to hide my bugs or lure her into a trap," she said. Temari thought, "What is he doing?" but decided to shoot the tree Shino was going to land on next, making the bug user fall to the ground. Temari looked at where Shino had fallen and had to step back when he jumped out of the trees toward her. Temari moved her fan and sent a single wind blade at him. Shino was cut in half, but his body turned into bugs, and he just fell apart. When Temari looked to her left and saw Shino, her eyes got big. When she looked to her right, she saw the ground start to move toward her. Shino said, "You now have a choice," which got Temari's attention. "You can kill me or take my bugs, but you'll lose here either way," Temari said to the Shino. She gritted her teeth and glared at him, but then she smiled. "I guess I'll choose you," Temari said as she swung her fan, ripping chunks of earth out of the ground and cutting Shino up with the wind blades. To Temari's surprise, Shino just turned back into bugs. When Temari turned around, she saw that the army of bugs was almost at her feet. She tried to jump, but the bugs pushed her into them. Shino was looking right back at her when she looked up. Temari gave him a mean look, and with the little chakra she had left, she swung her fan and hit Shino in the side with it. Shino crashed into a tree, and as he clenched his teeth in pain, he could feel that he had broken ribs and a nasty cut on his side. Shino said, as he slowly laid down on a tree and felt his eyes grow heavy, "I guess I won't be moving on to help Naruto after all." Senji was patiently waiting in the Raikage's office when he came back in a flash of lightning. The old man didn't even move. "We're at a dead end," he said as he watched Senji's hand tighten and then loosen. "Tell me why you want this Uzumaki killed, but if I think you're lying, I'll kill you myself," the Raikage said. Senji stared at the Raikage for a moment, but then he relaxed. What would I gain by lying to you?" He kept looking at Senji, who didn't seem to be feeling anything. I want to keep the people who helped me kill that clan safe. If this Uzumaki tells the right people, it could be very bad for you. I'm only doing this to help you, so why would I lie? He smiled, which made Senji cautious as he slowly put his hands together. The problem is that you, our helper and subordinate, tried to kill me, he said as Senji stood up. And he said the craziest thing, that you are the one who gave the order. He disappeared in a flash of lightning, making Senji narrow his eyes as the area he was standing on exploded from a lightning-charged punch from He jumped back and watched as the smoke and dust slowly cleared away. But when it was all gone, he got the biggest surprise of his life. Senji was only an inch away from the crater, but he was completely unharmed. You just made the biggest mistake of your life, you stupid jackass. Senji's voice was no longer calm, but angry. One of the ANBU jumped out of the shadows in the corner of the office and swung a sword at the man's head. Even though he was old, Senji turned on his heel and moved out of the way of the blade. Just as the ANBU's head passed by, Senji reached out and grabbed it. I told you, Rakage, you just made the worst mistake of your miserable life. I don't need your help to get rid of this bothersome person. There are others who would be more than happy to help. He put his hand on the ANBU's head and squeezed. The ANBU tried to grab anything he could to get away, but the man stopped moving almost immediately and Senji let go. He was about to charge when Senji vanished in a puff of smoke just as he was about to attack. When he looked at his fallen ANBU, he saw something that would keep him up at night. When the ANBU's mask fell off, his head looked like it had been hit with a hammer. As he stared at the spot where he had been a few seconds ago, he thought, I need to beef up security and kill that man before it's too late. But I can't let this Uzumaki to tell anyone about us. Sorry, Uzumaki, but as soon as I find out who you are, you will die. He turned around and disappeared in a bolt of lightning. Senji glared at his assistant, who had managed to call him from more than 4 miles away from Kumo. Shut up, the man was told, and he shut his mouth right away. Change of plans. We need help from some very special people. Tell everyone that we're going to pay a group of people with black cloaks and red clouds called Akatsuki a little visit. Senji's eyes seemed to glow with a black fire. Naruto did a backflip to get away from a few sand spears that were stuck in the trees. Naruto watched as more sand seemed to stick to Gaara's body and thought, damn, I can't get close to him. Gaara asked Naruto, what's the matter, Uzumaki? Are you afraid of me? As he threw shuriken shaped like sand at him. Naruto called up another clone that grabbed his arm and swung above the shuriken. But the clone ducked just in time to avoid the spinning sand. Gaara looked at the clone and Naruto as they both pulled out those familiar red tags. Fuinjutsu, Shaokyaku. The two fire streams hit Gaara's sand body and started turning the sand into glass. Suddenly, the sand around Gaara erupted into a sandstorm that blew Naruto and his clone away. Gaara held out his arm and said, you're going to have to do a lot better than that, Uzumaki. Naruto was almost swallowed by sand, but his clone wasn't as lucky. Naruto turned around and saw Gaara smiling at him. Damn it, I can't get close enough. Naruto put his hands together and said, I can't give up because if I lose, my home will be destroyed. With a sudden burst of chakra, 20 clones of Naruto appeared around him. When Gaara saw all the clones, his eyes got big. Where does he get this power? Asked Naruto and all the clones at once. You will prove that I am real, Naruto Uzumaki. Gaara said as he took a deep breath. Futon, Mugen Sajin Datapa means wind release, infinite sand cloud great breakthrough. Gaara blew out a wave of wind and sand that turned all of the clones into dust. But before the last clone died, it smiled, which confused Gaara. Gaara heard a noise behind him, and when he turned around to see what was going on, he saw Naruto already stabbing a kunai into his back. But the sand armor stopped it from doing much damage. Gaara snarled and swung his tail at Naruto, hitting him in the chest. The hit tore the bandages off Naruto's chest and threw him into a tree. You can't beat me, Uzumaki, said Naruto. But the beast in front of him just smiled and said one word. Boom. Gaara's eyes went wide as a huge fireball engulfed him and destroyed 3 trees around him. Naruto slowly got up, and as his bandages fell off, a seal that looked like a tattoo went from his chest to his back. In front of the seal was a storm, and on his back was an animal that looked like a fox. Naruto watched as the smoke and debris finally started to clear away. When they did, he saw Gaara still standing and very angry. Gaara looked up at Naruto with anger in his eyes and roared, this is getting worse, and I'm starting to run out of chakra. Gaara was suddenly eaten by a sand pillar that shot up, making Naruto jump backwards. When Naruto looked up, he saw something he swore he'd never see again. Gaara was on the head of a huge creature that looked like a raccoon dog. Ikabai no Shukaku, Kyuubi said with an amused growl. Naruto narrowed his eyes and said, so this is the first tail. When he tried to move, he found sand wrapped around his ankles. Shit. Naruto looked up and saw more sand falling toward him, ready to crush him. Naruto bit his thumb and started going through the hand signs as quickly as he could. Naruto slammed his hand down and said, "Kuchios no Jutsu." Just then, the sand from above fell on top of him. The sand was suddenly blown away in a huge cloud of smoke. Naruto, on the other hand, was standing on top of the smoke cloud with his legs bent and his arms on his knees. When the smoke cleared, Gaara saw that Naruto had called up a huge old toad. Gamabunta growled, "What do you want, brat?" As if he didn't want to be called. "You told my sons to do this, and they told me." Naruto smiled as he looked down at the chief toad and said, "Sorry, Gamabunta, but I couldn't call you or I would have destroyed the stadium." Gamabunta looked at the creature in front of him with narrowed eyes and said, "I need your help right now." Gamabunta said, "Shukaku, why would I want to fight with him?" As he took his pipe out of his mouth, Naruto set his teeth together. "Because I really need your help here," Naruto said in a voice that sounded like he was pleading. Gamabunta looked at Naruto and said, "But why should I fight for you?" Naruto looked back at Gamabunta, who was sighing. "Because if you don't help me, Konoha will be destroyed, and I don't think you'd want that." Gamabunta pulled his dagger out of its sheath just as Gaara put his hands together in a tiger seal. He said, "Fine, but the next time you call me, you better have sake." Gaara went limp all of a sudden, which made Gamabunta curse. Naruto didn't know what was going on until he looked and saw Shukaku's eyes spinning and changing colors. Shukaku yelled to the sky, "I'm free," as he started laughing like a madman. "Oh, goody, someone to kill," Shukaku said as he fell backwards and took in a huge amount of air. Gamabunta told Naruto, "I'm going to jump." Naruto used chakra on his feet and hands to stay on the toad. Shukaku spat out a compressed ball of wind at Gamabunta and said, "Futon, Rankton." Gamabunta jumped over it. Gamabunta joined his hands. Gamabunta spat out his own sphere, but instead of wind it was water. Shukaku looked up and spit out a sphere of wind. When the two attacks hit each other, the area was soaked with water. As soon as Gamabunta hit the ground, he took out his dagger and cut Shukaku's arm off. Gamabunta glared at himself and thought, "Damn, he's tough. I barely made that cut." Shukaku turned around and looked Gamabunta in the eyes with anger. Shukaku started sucking in more air, making Gamabunta try to move out of the way of his attacks. Naruto yelled, "What should we do?" as he tried to stay on top of the moving toad's head. Gamabunta said as he dodged another air bullet, "You need to wake up the medium." Naruto looked at Gamabunta and asked, "The what?" Gamabunta sighed. Gamabunta said, "Let the kid on his head wake him up," as he saw Naruto smile, and his eyes twinkle. Naruto said, "Okay, just get me close enough," and then he started to pull on Kyuubi's chakra. Gamabunta nodded his head and began to charge at Shukaku while avoiding his air bullets. Shukaku's eyes got bigger when he saw a huge fox behind Naruto. When Gamabunta got close enough, Naruto used the extra chakra to jump off his head, and before Shukaku's sand could stop him, he hit Gaara in the head with a punch. "No, I just got here," Shukaku yelled as his body started to fall apart. When Gaara woke up, he and Naruto were falling out of the sky. They fell to the ground with a loud thud, but even though they were hurt, they were surprised to get up. Gaara asked, "How are you so strong?" as he used what little chakra he had to bring his sand to him. "Because I fight for everyone who has ever been close to me," Naruto said as he pulled out a kunai, cut his hand open, and smeared the blood on the seal. "I know what it's like because of Gaara. I've been in that dark and lonely place, but I'm telling you that fighting by yourself is not true strength. Fighting with others is." Naruto then put his hands together and started to focus. "I only have 3 seconds, so I'd better make them count." Suddenly, the seal on Naruto's body started to glow and spread until Naruto's whole body seemed to shimmer like wind. Fuinjutsu, Makazite Naruto charged at Gaara as the sand came at him, but instead of moving out of the way, he ran right into it. Gaara was surprised when the sand disappeared when it touched Naruto, but before he could do anything, Naruto punched Gaara in the face, sending him flying backwards. Gaara was able to stop himself from going any farther back and willed his sand to surround Naruto. Naruto looked around as the seal started to disappear. "I have to stop this right now," Naruto said as he watched the sand hit him hard. Suddenly, the sand disappeared again. Gaara watched as Naruto disappeared and then reappeared in front of him. He gave Gaara a devastating kick to the side of his head, sending him straight into a tree. Gaara fell on his back and could barely breathe as blood poured from his head. Gaara looked up and saw that the seal was starting to go away, leaving a tired Naruto behind. "How simple," Naruto said as he collapsed on the ground. "My clan made a special seal that lets us change the states of matter. In short, it let me turn your sand into dust. but it only lasts for 3 seconds. I can tell you don't have anything left either, Gaara, but please don't live this life anymore because it will only bring you sadness. At that point, Naruto passed out from exhaustion. Gaara looked at Naruto and held out his hand towards the boy. The last of his chakra was put into the last of his sand, which slowly crept towards the boy, ready to kill him, but then it stopped. Gaara started shaking his head to get rid of Naruto's voice, which said, "Don't live that life, it will only make you sad." His strength comes from the love of others. That's why he's strong. Gaara put his hand down and slowly closed his eyes as he looked up at the sky. Naruto slowly opened his eyes and saw the white ceiling of the hospital. When he turned to his left, he saw Hinata with her head on his bed sleeping and Jiraiya standing at the doorway with his arms crossed. "So you're finally awake." Jiraiya smiled when Naruto nodded his head, but he was still confused. Naruto asked, "What happened?" as he rubbed his head, trying to clear the dust from his mind so he could remember. Jiraiya's face got a sad look all of a sudden. Jiraiya looked at the ground and said the one thing he knew would hit Naruto hard: "We won the battle, but we lost some good men and women. Also, Sarutobi died to try to kill the person who started this whole thing." When Naruto heard that Sarutobi had died, his eyes got very big. Naruto looked at Jiraiya but still wouldn't meet the Uzumaki's eyes. "That's not possible. The old man is too strong to be taken down that easily. When does he die?" Jiraiya shocked Naruto by saying, "That's it, Naruto. You've been gone for 3 days. That seal you used nearly killed you. It not only drained your supply to a dangerous level, but it also took a big chunk out of your other source." Jiraiya watched as Naruto gently reached up and grabbed him by the shoulder. "I don't think it's safe to use that again, but before you speak up, let me explain. That seal was made for people with a lot of chakra, which you do have, but what you don't have is control. I told you that the seal I put on you was only a temporary fix and that you would need more training to fix that problem. But you didn't listen, did you?" When Jiraiya gave him a serious look, Naruto turned away. "I had no choice. If I hadn't done what I did, the village might have been destroyed." Jiraiya heard Hinata groan and turned to see her moving around and trying to wake up. "I know, Naruto, but every clan has a weak spot, and your clan's was their recklessness," Jiraiya said as he walked toward Naruto and looked at him with a sad face. "The Uzumaki were always willing to die to save a few," Jiraiya said as he looked at Naruto, who was relaxing. "But I do have some bad news. Since you were brought here, the council has been trying to keep you in the village until further notice. But I was able to convince them that I need you for a mission." Naruto looked up at Jiraiya and asked, "Oh, and what is that?" "Let's go find our next Hokage," Jiraiya told Naruto with a smile as she turned and walked out the door. "I've already cleared you with the doctors. You have 2 hours to get up, get ready, and meet me at the gate." With that, Jiraiya left, leaving Naruto with Hinata. Naruto looked at Hinata and smiled softly as he ruffled her hair. Hinata woke up a little bit and looked up. When she did, she saw Naruto smiling down at her. Hinata wrapped her arms around Naruto and said, "Naruto." She then hugged him tightly. "I thought you wouldn't wake up," Naruto said as he looked down and hugged Hinata back. Naruto joked, "Sorry to worry you, but it's going to take a lot more to bring me down." This made Hinata laugh a little. "Listen, Hinata, I have to go on a mission with my sensei for a few days." Hinata's head snapped back in surprise. "What? But you're not sick." Hinata was surprised, but Naruto's smile and the fact that he got out of bed quickly put her mind at ease. Hinata shook her head, but Naruto smiled and said, "Actually, I'm fine." Hinata put her hands on her hips just as Naruto gave her a quick kiss. She said, "One day you'll meet something just as stubborn as you are." Hinata blushed as Naruto said, "But that's why you love me." Naruto grabbed Hinata's hand and said, "Come on, I need to get out of here." The two of them started to leave before Naruto realized he was still wearing his hospital gown. Senji was walking around in the woods when he smiled. "So instead of me finding you, you found me." Senji turned around and saw Kakuzu and Haiden standing a few feet away. Kakuzu narrowed his eyes and said, "Our spies told us that you have people looking for us." "Why?" Senji laughed at this question. "Because I think the Akatsuki and I can work together and we have a common enemy," Haiden said with a smile as his hand went up to his side. "Stop Haiden. Our orders are to bring him in to talk to our leader, but if he refuses, we kill him." Kakuzu looked at Senji, who only held out his hands and smiled. "I'm all yours," he said. This made both men feel cold, but Senji just kept smiling. Naruto had just said his final goodbyes to Hinata and was now walking with Jiraiya with a determined look in his eyes. But before he got to the gate, Tenten managed to corner him and ask him about him to help her with the seal she was trying to figure out for her weapons. Naruto said he would try it when he got back. Naruto walked up to Jiraiya, who was waiting for his student with patience. Jiraiya looked at Naruto and sighed. So, what am I going to learn now? When Jiraiya said, I'm going to try to teach you one of the fourth Hokage's best jutsu, the Rasengan, Naruto's eyes lit up, which made Jiraiya smile. He's a little like Minato in that he's always eager to learn. Naruto said, okay, so when do we start? With a smile on his face. Well, we'll start right away, because I can't have a weakling as an apprentice. Jiraiya did this because he knew it would bother Naruto, which was what he wanted. Biro-sensei, just watch. I'll learn this jutsu in no time at all, Naruto said with a smile as Jiraiya gave him a slight glare. I told you not to call me that again. Jiraiya started chasing Naruto, but Naruto decided he liked life too much to be beaten to death, so he ran away. Senji's eyes were covered, and Kekuzu's hands were tied so he couldn't use hand signs. Senji smiled and hummed a happy tune the whole time, as if he wasn't afraid of anything. Senji was suddenly stopped, and the blindfold was taken off to show him a ghostly image of a man with spiky hair and rippled eyes. Senji said this in a sarcastic tone, so I came all the way here for a ghost image. This is the last time you'll hear me talk for now, Pain said in a strong voice. Senji wasn't being sarcastic when he said, okay, I'll just get to the point. I think we can help each other out. You see, I know that you're capturing Biju and you just so happen still need to catch the Kyubai's host. Pain's eyes narrowed slightly. I'll help you capture what remains of your little collection if you promise that I can handle the Kyubai's Jinchuriki alone. This surprised everyone in the area as they looked at the man as if he was insane. Why would I give that to you? Pain asked as he looked more closely at the man. Senji smiled wider when he saw the leader's eyes light up. Because I know who he is and what he can do. I can bring him to you in a few minutes if you promise to kill him when I do. Pain looked at the man in front of him with a thoughtful expression. I will think about this offer, but until then, you will be held until further notice. Senji smiled as he was led away from the area. Soon, the Uzumaki clan will be a thing of the past, Senji said. His eyes seemed to glow with a dark flame that seemed to burn its way into your soul. And then there will be no one to stop me. Senji began to chuckle at the thought as his smile got even bigger. Naruto was in the apartment Jiraiya rented for the day while he went to do research. Naruto was in the final stage of Rasengan training, which surprised the sage, but he was having trouble controlling his chakra. Suddenly, someone knocked on the door to the apartment Naruto was in. Biro-sensei wouldn't be back this soon, Naruto thought as he put his hands together to make a clone. Uchiha, but I thought the entire clan was wiped out, Naruto's clone said as he slowly backed up. Unfortunately, you were wrong, Kasama said as he grabbed Naruto and slammed him into the wall behind him. Kasame, don't kill him. We need him alive, his teammate yelled, but Kasama just smiled and looked at him. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to. Kasama stopped when he heard Naruto start to laugh. Naruto whispered, I have a secret. I'm not the real one. Suddenly, the clone exploded into smoke, leaving two very surprised men who turned back to the room to see the real Naruto throwing a kunai with a tag at them. Itachi and Kasama were then eaten by a giant fireball that made people run out of their rooms to get to safety. What was that? I felt like my chakra was taken away. Naruto looked up to see Kasama smiling at him from above. Itachi said, my sword can eat chakra, brat. And Kasama started to reach for Naruto. Itachi slowly turned towards Sasuke, who was staring him down, and said, hello, little brother. Sasuke was staring right through the man. I did what you asked, brother. I've hated you my whole life. Suddenly, Sasuke's hand turned into a ball of lightning and he said, now I'm going to kill you. Sasuke charged, his eyes filled with anger. Stop, Sasuke. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. Naruto watched as his teammate completely ignored him and kept going. Sasuke swung his arm at Itachi to cut him in half, but in the blink of an eye, Itachi's hand shot forward, grabbed Sasuke's wrist, and twisted it down, breaking it. Itachi just watched as Sasuke tried to punch him, but when he did, Itachi put more pressure on his broken wrist, making Sasuke scream in pain. You don't interest me right now, it's Naruto I'm after. Sasuke gritted his teeth, but when he tried to attack Itachi, he quickly pulled Sasuke forward and kicked him in the stomach, knocking Sasuke out. Kuchiyos, Gamaguchi Shibari. The group looked and saw Jiraiya smiling at Itachi and Kasama, but when Itachi turned back to Sasuke he saw the flesh wrap around him, which made Itachi let go. You're both dead. No one has ever gotten out of his stomach. You do know we are heading straight for a wall. Kasama said this as he looked at Itachi only to see his right eye begin to bleed. Oh, I see. Kasama pulled back and positioned himself right behind Itachi. Itachi whispered Amaterasu as the area he was looking at burst into black flames. Jiraiya couldn't see anything because of the wall of flesh, but he could hear something. A loud explosion made Jiraiya pull back the wall of flesh, revealing a hole in the flesh surrounded by black flames. Impossible, no katan is strong enough to burn through this toad's stomach. Jiraiya thought, amazed as he slowly pulled out a scroll and sealed the flames inside. You okay, Naruto? Jiraiya turned to see Naruto looking at Sasuke with sad eyes, but before Jiraiya could speak he was promptly kicked in the face by Guy. Guy was smiling, but not until he saw who he kicked. Guy told the Toad Hermit, I'm so sorry, I thought you were the enemy. Well, how about you check before you decide to kick people in the face? Jiraiya was bleeding from his nose and he didn't look all that happy. But besides that, we need you to take Sasuke to the hospital in Konoha immediately. Guy nodded his head and grabbed Sasuke before jumping away. Naruto looked at Jiraiya with a smile and said, you know he didn't mean to do that. Shut up. What did I tell you about not making trouble? Jiraiya shouted at Naruto. I can't protect you all the time. Yeah, because you're too busy being a pervert. Naruto said back at Jiraiya, who looked slightly offended. Jiraiya stood tall and said, I'm not a pervert. I'm a mega pervert. Jiraiya turned to see Naruto walking away. That's exactly my point, Naruto said with a smile, making Jiraiya clench his teeth as he ran after the blonde boy. Kakuheki was sitting on a bed, clenching and releasing his fist. He said to himself, finally, I think my strength is coming back. He heard a reply from the doorway. That's good, because you're going to need every last drop, the old man said when Kakuheki turned around. Onanami, Kakuheki said, his voice both happy and confused. It's good to see you again, old friend, but what do you want from me? Onanami smiled even bigger and sat down on the chair. A new Uzumaki has appeared, and I've taken great care to make sure he's safe. For the first time in a year, he sounded like an old man. But I can feel my time coming closer and closer. I need someone to watch him and bring him here when my time is close. You, Ishiki, and Denpa are needed at this point. So when the time comes, you want us to catch him, Onanami said. Kakuheki looked very hesitant to catch someone. But what Onanami said next made him feel better. No, we don't need that kind of attention. Onanami then reached into his robes and pulled out a scroll. But if you show this to the current Hokage, then we'll be able to take Naruto without any resistance. Kakuheki grabbed the scroll just as the old man was sent into a fit of coughs and spitting out a little blood. Kakuheki went to help him, but he waved him away. Okay, but what if they don't let him go? Stack asked as he waited for Onanami to catch his breath. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. When Onanami looked Kakuheki in the eye, Kakuheki knew exactly what they would do. Kakuheki sighed and leaned back against the wall behind his bed. Yeah, I don't think they'll be too happy with us if we do that, he said with a small smile that made Onanami laugh. Even after all these years you still haven't changed, have you? Onanami said this in more of a statement than anything. Kakuheki just shrugged as he turned and laid down on the bed and fell asleep. As Onanami looked out the window, his smile went away and was replaced by a worried frown. Naruto, just stay alive for a little while longer, he said. Hell no, why would I want to be Hokage? Tsunade yelled, her cheeks turning red. Jiraiya just sighed, and Shizune and Naruto just looked at her with confused looks. Whoever gets that job will be killed. Our sensei should have known better than to take it up again. Tsunade was too busy talking to notice that Naruto was gripping the table so hard that it was starting to break. Look at what happened to all the other Hokages. They all died to protect that village. Sarutobi was brave, I'll give him that. But she was cut off when a piece of table was thrown at her and hit her in the face. Everyone turned to see Naruto staring angrily at Tsunade with a piece of his table missing. You're pathetic, Naruto said as he stood up and turned to leave, leaving the shocked group behind him. But before he got a few feet away, he turned his head around to see Tsunade getting out of the booth. I'll tell you a secret. The name Hokage means that you are the strongest, but it also means that you are willing to die to save your village. You don't deserve to be called Hokage or a part of Konoha if you are always feeling sorry for yourself. I, on the other hand, am willing to risk my life to protect the people of Konoha, even though they don't like me. So go back to your miserable life and let's find someone who deserves it more. Jiraiya and Shizune both looked at Naruto like he had just lost his mind. Tsunade was staring at Naruto so hard that everyone in the bar thought he was going to catch fire. Take that back, you brat. Tsunade approached Naruto, who turned fully around and glared back. Fine, let's make a bet since you're so fond of making them, Naruto said and didn't give Tsunade enough time to speak. If you beat me then I'll apologize, but if I win then you come back to Konoha. Tsunade said with a smirk, I thought you said I wasn't good enough. Naruto said, our job is to bring you back to Konoha. What happens after that is up to the council. Tsunade just shook her head and smiled. Fine, but to prove I'm not going to lose, I'll throw in my necklace. Naruto looked at the necklace and just shrugged. So do we have a deal? Tsunade glared and walked outside, making sure to hit Naruto in the shoulder with a chakra-charged arm. Naruto was surprised when he was spun around and turned completely around to face the door. She sure is strong, he thought as he followed the woman outside. Jiraiya gritted his teeth as he threw himself at the door to get outside and make sure his student didn't die. He got outside just as Naruto was thrown into the side of a building, leaving a hole in the wall. Why don't you just give up? You can't beat me, Tsunade said with a smirk, but she frowned when Naruto got up from the rubble and glared at her. Because I don't know how to give up. Naruto stood up fully while he spat out some blood. I am Naruto Uzumaki and I'm going to be Hokage one day. Tsunade's eyes widened when she saw a picture of both Dan and her brother. Naruto saw this and decided to act. He put his hands together and made 2 clones, then charged the woman while she was distracted. But just as he was about to pull out his seals, Tsunade punched both the clones and Naruto to the ground. When she looked up, she was shocked to see that Naruto had also disappeared. Where did he? Tsunade was thinking when she heard a buzzing noise. When she turned around, she got the biggest surprise of her life. Naruto was smiling like a fox and holding a blue spinning ball with seals all over it in his right hand. You lose, he said. Naruto slammed the sphere into Tsunade's back and watched as the sphere started to grind away. Rasengan, don't ever spit on the name Hokage. Tsunade was thrown forward and hit the building in front of her. Naruto did nothing but watch as the rubble slowly fell on top of Tsunade's angry face. Jiraiya was shocked, and that's not even saying much. We had just started training him, but he already had the Rasengan done. Jiraiya walked up to his student and looked down at him. The student smiled back. How simple, I used my Fuinjutsu. Naruto said this and looked at Jiraiya, who was looking confused. It's simple, I couldn't focus on both gathering my chakra and spinning it at the same time. So, I made a new seal that spins on its own. The seal is set up to work when I put chakra into it, so I can now pull out my Rasengan as quickly as you. Why didn't I come up with that? Jiraiya threw his hands up in the air in anger. Because you were looking at girls too much. Naruto said something, but he turned around and looked at Tsunade, who was being helped up by Shizune. That sounds like you're coming with us, I guessed. Tsunade tried to get to Naruto, but the pain in her back stopped her. Why, Jiraiya, did you teach him that jutsu? Jiraiya smiled at Tsunade, who glared at her. Okay, then don't answer me. So you beat me, you little brat. I guess everyone gets lucky sometimes. Tsunade reached up and gave Naruto the necklace. She then tried to get away from Naruto, but his voice stopped her. You think you're going where? Just as Naruto put the necklace around his neck, he turned to Tsunade. You have to come to Konoha with us, too. Tsun just gritted her teeth and stared at Naruto, who smiled back. A deal is a deal. Naruto just stood there and looked at Tsunade, staring right into her eyes. Listen, Tsunade, I just have one thing to say. Hiding isn't going to make your demons go away. The only thing you can do is go face your demons, and only then will you be free. Tsunade shook her head and was taken away to get the wound on her back taken care of. What if she wants to go? Naruto looked at Jiraiya, who was watching a member of his team leave. Well, I guess we'll just have to watch her closely. Jiraiya winked at Naruto, making him groan. Now what did I do? Jiraiya watched as Naruto smiled as he walked away. You're still a giant pervertero, sensei, Naruto said as Jiraiya got angry at his name again. I told you not to call me that again, you brat. Jiraiya yelled as he went after Naruto again. Naruto started running with a smile that would make a fox blush. You have to catch me if you're going to punish me. Jiraiya ran faster as she tried to catch up to Naruto, who was much more active. This made Naruto laugh. Senji's hands were tied behind him in a dark cell, but he never stopped smiling. The door opened all of a sudden, and 3 people walked in. One was a girl, the other was the man he was talking to, and the third one was wearing an orange mask with a spiral on it. Oh, this is it, the man in the orange mask said. Yes, he'd like to come with us, Pain said as he looked at Madara without showing any feelings. Why would we want to do that? Madara looked at Senji, who gave him a bigger smile. Even though these chains are taking a lot of my chakra, I can still put up a good fight. This is what Senji said as he got up and made Konan wrap him in her paper. Let's stop and see what he can do. Madara waved his hand and said. Konan reluctantly let Senji go, which made Senji smile even more. Senji closed his eyes and started hyperventilating, which made the other 3 look at him strangely. Senji's eyes suddenly shot open and showed angry eyes. The group of people watched as Aseel's arms grew longer, but that wasn't what surprised them. What surprised them was that his muscles were getting bigger. Senji shot his arms up and broke the chains that were holding him down, which made the 3 people look at him in shock. You see, I had a partner with a unique seal, Senji said as he started to calm down and the seal and the new muscle started to disappear. The seal was made to connect to his anger, not his chakra. What the seal did was simple, it made him stronger based on how angry he was. So when he died, I decided to make better use of his seal. Madara gave Pain a nod and looked at him, but Pain just stared back. That was pretty impressive, but we need a much clearer answer. When Madara looked at Senji, he saw that he was only a few feet away. What were you thinking? Senji said with a smile that was scary. Madara watched with one bright eye in the darkness. You will have a fight with one of the Akatsuki. As Madara turned around, he said this. If you win, you can join us, but if you lose, we'll kill you right where you are. When Madara turned around, he saw Senji bending over to stretch his back. Let's do it. Senji smiled at Madara. Follow me and pick who you want to fight. Madara turned around and showed Senji the way out of the cell. When the two walk into a room, everyone in Akatsuki is looking down at them. What are you doing here, Tomi? Deidara let out a scream. Madara quickly changed into a Tobai and went straight for Deidara. I wanted to see you again, Deidara-senpai. But Deidara punched him in the face before he could get there, and his arm went right through his head. It drives me crazy when he does that. Deidara shook as if he were cold, but he still glared at Tobai. Who is this piece of trash? Hiden said as he held his prayer necklace in his hand. Everyone looked at Senji for a while before they turned back to Pain. He wants to join, but we need to check him out first. Pain said it clearly. He looks so weak, I said. Senji smiled even though his hand twitched. It's up to him to decide. Senji walked forward before Pain could finish. Give me the crazy person with the prayer necklace. Senji's eyes almost sparkled with happiness, but there was anger behind them. You think you can win against me? Hiden seemed a little angry. I will definitely kill you as a sacrifice to my god Jashin. Hiden went crazy with anger when Senji started laughing at the name Jashin. Jashin, the god. Senji looked like he was very happy to hear that name. Well, you'd better ask your god for help, because I'm going to tear you to pieces. Hiden grabbed his three-bladed scythe and jumped down, bringing it with him. Senji just moved to the side of the blade and tried to kick Hiden, but Hiden jumped back and dodged the kick completely. You fucking heretic, how dare you insult my god? Hiden took a bad-looking stance and lowered his head. I'll make sure your death hurts as much as it can. Senji just shook his head. Well, if that's the case, why don't I let you attack first? Senji put out his arms. Go ahead, I promise this is your only chance. At that point, Hiden got angry and ran towards Senji. He then swung his scythe sideways and hit Senji in the stomach, leaving him with a nasty gash. Now you will suffer for Yukiri. When Hiden looked at his scythe and didn't see any blood on it, he stopped. Hiden looked at Senji and saw that his blood was falling to the floor almost as slowly as a crawl. I did warn you. Senji smiled as he tore his shirt and wrapped it around his stomach. It's my turn now. Pain, on the other hand, was thinking about something else. Pain threw one of his chakra receivers at Senji, who turned around to see the point of the pike. Then, to everyone's surprise, the receiver slowed down, giving Senji time to move out of its way and gently grab it. Well, that's all. As his Rinnegan shone in the dark, Pain said, You're slowing down time in your personal space by using Jikuken ninjutsu. Senji grinned as he split the pike in half. Why is it that out of all the enemies I've ever had, you're the only one who gets it? Senji did start to clap for Pain. Wow, that's great. Does that mean I get what I want? Pain was quiet for a moment, then he glanced at Madara, who nodded quickly. Very well, Senji, welcome to Akatsuki. Senji just smiled even bigger and cracked his knuckles together. What did you say? Tsunade was shocked to see her old teammate. Orochimaru was happy because he thought he had Tsunade right where he wanted her. Heal my arms, and I'll bring back from the dead your dear brother and lover. Orochimaru smiled when he saw that Tsunade was right where he wanted her to be. All you have to do to be reunited with your family is heal me. Lady Tsunade, you can't really be thinking about this. Shizune was shocked as she looked at Tsunade. Consider what my uncle would have done. Orochimaru began to laugh. Look at her, she's doing more than just thinking about it. Orochimaru looked at Tsunade, who looked torn. I'll give you one day to decide. Tsunade, until then. With that, both Orochimaru and Kabuto disappeared in a firestorm. Tsunade turned on her heel and started to walk away before Shizune could finish. Shizune, I'm going for a walk. This is how Tsunade said it, and it was clear that she wanted to be alone. Shizune thought, Tsunade, as she ran to tell Jiraiya what had just happened. When Shizune got to the apartment, Naruto was reading a book in the lobby, but Jiraiya was nowhere to be found. Damn that skank. When Naruto called out to her, she was about to turn around. You looking for Iro-sensei? When Naruto looked up from his book, he asked. Yes, but do you know where he is? Naruto just shrugged when Shizune smiled at him. He said he was going to talk to Tsunade. Naruto shut his book and put it inside the seal on his shoulder. Why don't you just sit down? I'm sure he'll be fine with Tsunade. Shizune just shook her head and went to the door, but Naruto spoke again. He knows about Orochimaru already. Shizune stopped in her tracks and turned back to look at Naruto, who took out his book again. You mean what? Shizune turned around and looked at Naruto straight in the eyes. Before you left, he was able to put 2 seals on each of you. Naruto looked at his book some more. He said that one would let him follow you and that the other would let him listen in on your conversations. Shizune seemed shocked, but Naruto kept talking. He said that if you broke one seal, he could use the other to find you. All of this was done to make sure that Tsunade wouldn't try to escape. Shizune let out a small sigh of relief and walked over to Naruto. As he did, he saw that Naruto was wearing the necklace he had won from Tsunade. Should I let him know? Shizune looked at Naruto as he put down his book and stretched his arms. Naruto, that necklace has a curse on it, he said. This made Naruto's eyebrows go up. Except for Lady Tsunade, everyone who has ever worn that necklace has died. But he didn't freak out like she thought he would. Instead, he was calm and even shrugged it off. I guess I'll have to change that, since I won't die until I become Hokage. When Naruto said this, he said it with a voice that seemed to give off courage. Come on, let's go to bed. It's getting late and I'm tired. Shizune watched Naruto as he yawned, turned around, and started to walk upstairs. Shizune woke up the next day hoping to see Tsunade, but there was no one there to greet him. Then she thought of what Orochimaru had said. Shizune jumped up and ran as fast as she could to Naruto's room. She knocked on the door, and Naruto rubbed his eyes when he opened it. What's wrong, Shizune? Did Jiraiya come back? Her voice had a bit of fear in it, which woke Naruto up even more. No, he never. Suddenly, a kunai flew by Naruto's ear and hit the door frame, missing Shizune by inches. When Naruto realized it was Jiraiya, he turned around and was about to throw a kunai at the man's head. Jiraiya was holding onto the window frame for support, and breathing so hard that it sounded like he had been running for days. She drugged me. Jiraiya said this, and Shizune went to help by going to work. We need to move quickly because she may already be with Orochimaru. Shizune gave a nod, and Naruto narrowed his eyes and looked out the window. Tsunade, what are you up to? As Naruto looked back at Jiraiya, he thought, Nagato, I need to talk to you. Pain stopped in his tracks and turned around to see Madara coming toward him. Yes, Madara. Pain said that he was standing at attention. I want you to watch Senji. Madara's one eye got small, which made Pain nod. Whatever he really wants, we need to make sure he doesn't get in the way of our plans. Don't worry, he'll be kept an eye on. Before they went their separate ways, they took one more look at each other. Neither of them knew that a small bird was sitting on a window sill. The bird took off, flew between the buildings, and landed on Senji's shoulder. The bird came closer to him and started to chirp in his ear. Yes, I get it, thank you. The bird made a small bow and then disappeared in a puff of smoke. They think they can stop me. That is so stupid it's funny. I think I need to show them in due time that you can't control what a real god does. Senji sat in the dark and started laughing as he thought about all the things he would do to the Uzumaki when he caught him. Kabuto dodged another attack from Tsunade, who was angry and trying to kill him. The game is over if she hits me. Kabuto kept jumping backwards until he hit a rock, which made him start to sweat. Damn. When Kabuto looked ahead, he saw Tsunade raise her fist to kill him. But Kabuto quickly pulled out a kunai and cut his hand open. When blood hit Tsunade in the face, she stopped in shock. Blood? Tsunade stopped, put her hands to her face, and looked at them with wide eyes. Kabuto gave her a smile and a quick, hard kick to the side. You say that you are a medical ninja. Kabuto smiled as he made his way slowly toward her. You're weak, so die. Kabuto put his chakra-powered hand on Tsunade's neck, but he had to jump back to avoid a barrage of kunai. Jiraiya, Naruto, and Shizune were standing in front of Tsunade when Kabuto looked up. That's enough to satisfy 4 eyes, Jiraiya said in a snarl. When Naruto turned around, he saw Shizune trying to calm down Tsunade. So it looks like we're on our own. As he took off his cloak, Naruto asked in a polite way. Jiraiya turned around, saw how Tsunade was hurt, and grunted. Okay, Naruto, he said. Jiraiya turned around and saw Naruto already running toward Kabuto, who just smiled at the blonde. Damn him. Jiraiya was about to run at Naruto, but Orochimaru stopped him with a smile on his face. Where do you think you'll end up? With a snake-like smile, Orochimaru said. Jiraiya just gritted his teeth and got into a fighting stance. Shizune, stay as close to Tsunade as you can. Naruto yelled as he let go of the shuriken. It's going to get a little rough. Kabuto dodged Naruto's shuriken, but the shuriken turned into a puff of smoke and disappeared, revealing a cage bunshin. Kabuto got his hand down just in time to hit the clone in the head with a punch. When Kabuto turned his head, he saw that Naruto was already next to him and had just hit him in the face with a punch. Kabuto was thrown backwards, but not before Naruto kicked him in the side. The two fighters were sent flying in different directions until they stopped facing each other. Since we last met, you've changed for the better. Kabuto smiled and rubbed his jaw when he noticed it felt wet. I have good news for you if that made you feel good. Naruto held out his hand and smiled. You haven't seen anything yet, he said. Kabuto watched as a small ball began to form in the palm of his hand. Jiraiya threw a fireball at Orochimaru, but he was able to avoid it. Why waste your time on that worthless boy? Orochimaru said in a mocking voice. I can spot talent, and all I can see in that boy is stupidity. Exactly, Jiraiya said, confusing Orochimaru. Why should I teach someone who already knows everything they need to know to be a good ninja? What makes a ninja is not ninjutsu, but the guts to never give up, and Naruto has that in spades. Orochimaru laughed as he smiled at Jiraiya and looked at him. Oh, he makes you think of yourself. Orochimaru took a quick look at Naruto and was surprised to see him holding the Rasengan. That's impossible. No child should be able to learn that. Kabuto let the sphere spin for a while longer before he spoke. Why do you want to be her guardian? Naruto's eyes got very big as he looked at Kabuto. Tsunade said she doesn't want to go to Konoha, so why should I protect her? Naruto's eyes got a little narrower. Because, when it comes down to it, she might be a whore. Tsunade watched as Naruto raised his free hand and made a tiger seal with it. But she's still a Konoha member, so I won't give up on her. Kabuto tried to run away from Naruto, but a Kage Bunshin stopped him in his tracks. What did he do when? Kabuto was thinking about something when all of a sudden Naruto started running toward him. Shit, won't have time to get out of the way. Naruto brought his hand back and then slammed it into Kabuto's stomach. Rasengan. Naruto yelled as his clone disappeared and Kabuto started to scream. But Kabuto was able to bring his hand up and hit Naruto in the chest with a chakra-filled blow that Naruto didn't see. Naruto gave Kabuto one last push, which made him fall back and hit a rock. When Kabuto fell down, Naruto was standing over him with a slight glare in his eyes. So what are you waiting for? Kill me. Kabuto said this from where he was lying on the ground. But Naruto just shook his head and started walking away from the shinobi. What's going on? You used to be a Konoha nin, even if you don't wear the headband. Naruto stopped when he felt pain shoot through his chest, but he kept going. I won't kill you this time, but if you ever try to hurt my friends again, I won't just kill you, I'll rip you to pieces. Kabuto watched as Naruto fell to the ground in a huff and made Tsunade run over to see what was wrong. Tsunade tried to heal Naruto while Kabuto watched. Why? Kabuto gave Naruto a hard look. Why would he try to save me? Naruto's heart stopped, and Kabuto felt his teeth clench as he bit back a retort. Suddenly, Naruto's hand came up and gently smacked the top of Tsunade's head. What's wrong with you? Naruto looked at Tsunade with a weak gaze. I thought I told you I wouldn't die until I became Hokage. Kabuto just laid there with wide eyes as he watched the dead boy smile and fall asleep. I don't understand. Kabuto bit his lower lip as he gently rose up. That should have killed him outright. Kabuto looked over and saw Orochimaru heading his way as Jiraiya began to perform seals for a summoning. Lord Orochimaru. Kabuto bit his thumb and rubbed his blood on Orochimaru's summoning tattoo. Tsunade bit her own thumb and began to perform hand signs. Then all at once the three shinobi slammed their hands on the ground. The entire area was covered in a thick layer of smoke, but when it cleared, the three ninja were standing on massive creatures. Hand me the boy, Orochimaru said while he was on top of Manda, which hissed at him. He could become trouble for us all if he is kept alive. Tsunade looked at Naruto and thought back to what he said. She looked at Orochimaru and sighed while she gently slapped her forward. Alright, so you want him, you can have him, Tsunade said, surprising everyone. Over my dead body, because like him or not he makes a lot of sense. I may not like this, but I have been selected to become the next Hokage of Konoha, so I won't hand over my shinobi to you without a fight. Orochimaru sneered and looked to see his former friends and teammates getting into fighting positions. Orochimaru saw no other way around it, and the giant snake charged at the two with deadly intentions on its mind. Just hold on, brat. Tsunade looked back and saw a mini slug pick Naruto up and jump down. I still have a score to settle with you. With that, she also charged, ready to die for a fellow Konoha nin.
I will continue the story in next part. Till then, we weeb offline.